you know, and that's, I guess, what makes the show, right? Who's going to want to watch a boring show?
Who's going to want to watch a boring show, right? Well, listen,
Yeah.
I mean, for someone who didn't want to be there, you yourself, I mean, gave us a lot of iconic moments over the years. I mean, obviously, I'm sure I'm not the first person to ask you about this, but this whole hot mic moment and using like the CUNT word with Teresa, like that stands out to most people. Like, do you regret that? Like, what was going on in that moment?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that was definitely a bad moment. I mean, I don't. Like I said, we were drinking. It was during the time when I believe Sandy hit. Had just opened up a pizzeria, a laundromat. Basement was flooded. Everything was going wrong. Nobody knew what to do. I'm in where was I? In Napa Valley, drinking all kinds of bottles of wine. Meanwhile, everything is like sparking and doing whatever in the basement, and nobody could do anything about it. I had tenants upstairs. It was a mess. You know what I mean? I needed to leave, but even if I left, I couldn't do anything anyway. I mean, it happened, but nobody knew how to shut the power off. I had to call electrician. It was like one of those moments, and I don't know. I don't even know why. Because I wanted to leave the day before, but they made it stay longer. And so yeah, it was. I didn't really want to be there at the time. I mean, I should have never said what I said anyway. There's no excuse for what I said. So I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, like I said, there's a few times where I regret saying what I said because I've never called any woman that word. Never mind my ex-wife, the mother of my kids. I mean, that's disgusting. I hate that word, to be honest with you.
It's not, listen, we all make mistakes, just like you said.
Yeah,
What
I mean, I've never used that word. It's not even in my vocabulary. I mean, even if somebody, that doesn't even. I don't even use that word. You know what I mean? I've never used that word. So I mean, I don't even know how the hell it even came into my. Like I said, the wine. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know what kind of wine it was, but we drank a lot of it that weekend, or that day, and we were in the sun. So yeah, it could have been but there's still no excuse.
what about, we have that scene where like Teresa, speaks to like Kathy and Rosie, and she kind of like ends things with them. And like I think as viewers really flock to your relationship with Rosie. I mean, like, do you have any relationship at all? Like, do you talk to Rosie or Kathy at all anymore? I mean, do you
You know
miss
what's
Rosie?
what's funny, what? I've known this family. I've known my ex since we were kids. I've known Rosie since she was a kid. We were all kids. I mean, we all grew up in Patterson. So therefore, I've known these. My parents knew their family, their mothers and fathers. They all hung out at one point. We all were together at one point. They were a little older than me, but we all know each other growing up. So therefore, I know these people a very long time. And a matter of fact, they just called me. I just spoke to Rosie a couple of days ago. She was in maybe 3 days ago. She was down in Florida with Richie, and I actually saw Kathy. And she came out and said hello as well. So I mean, yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, not going to talk to him. I mean, over a show. I mean, come on. I don't know.
Did they come to the Bahamas and you actually saw them, or they just called to say hi?
No, 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 no. They called me on FaceTime. So they were in Florida because Richie's got a place there in Florida, I think in Fort Lauderdale, and they just called to say hello, whatever. And Rosie was saying hello. I mean, I got nothing against Rosie. I think Rosie's, was always fun. I mean, we always got along. We never fought or anything. I mean, it was always between, I guess Kathy and, whatever between them because they got on the show, and of course, they had to do, I guess what the brother's doing now. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just it's kind of ridiculous to be honest with you. I mean, your family shouldn't act that way towards each other, but it is what it is.
Were you shocked to hear from Kathy and Richie and Rosie?
Yeah, you know what I mean. A good friend of mine was here, and he happens to, because a friend of mine that was here was our banker back in the day, still is, and basically, he's friends with Richie as well, and he said, what, you say hello to Richie. I'm gonna call Richie right now. All right, I gotta call Richie. So, he called Richie. We said hello. I mean, look, do I really have, you know, whatever that kind of anger towards? No, I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, it's in the past. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Whatever little things that we, argued about on the show, I don't even remember. But whatever, it was like nothing. I don't know. I don't even remember the parts that we even did argue.
Maybe they'll come to visit the Bahamas.
Maybe it might have been a few scenes, huh?
Maybe they'll come visit you there.
Yeah, they're talking about it. They were talking about it. I mean, look, if they come, I'll have a drink with them and hang out. Why not?
Do you think like Teresa would ever, reconcile with them? And I mean, do you want to get like to all your points, like let bygones be bygones, or do you know better not to give Teresa advice on who to reconcile with at this point?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, she's pretty much done with all that, I guess. I mean, she actually, when I got out and I was in Italy, Richie did reach out to me and Rosie and everybody, and they did want to say hello to me while I was there because they happened to be there. And, my ex at the time was like, don't you dare, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. So I didn't, have any, I didn't answer the phone. I didn't whatever. So I didn't meet up with him, and that was that. But I mean, yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? When you're married, you got to listen to the wife, right?
Yes. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys, and I'm glad you would have a drink with them if they came down there. What about?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, look.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been friends with him. It's not like, I've known him forever. I mean, whatever. It's whatever happened on the show happened. I mean, it was for a little bit. I mean, it's not a big deal.
What about, the most iconic moment in Housewives history for any franchise is Teresa flipping the table. I mean, you were there. Like, what went through your minds? I don't think anyone's ever really asked you this question. Like, when you were there, like, what was going through your mind when Teresa flipped this table?
It actually turned me on, to be honest with you. I was actually like wowed about it. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, okay. I never really seen that part of her. You know what I mean?
You haven't? Like, I mean, you were shocked?
Yeah, I mean, she never flipped the table on me. So, I mean, yeah, I was shocked. I mean, I've never seen her really flip a table. But, I mean, it was kind of like, it just went with the moment, I guess. You know what I mean? It was good.
Did you tell her you were turned on? Maybe you guys went home and had a nice night?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that was, I mean, we even kissed after that. She was like, oh, it's okay, baby, whatever. We kissed. If you watch the scene, I remember that part. And, because I was trying to calm her down or whatever. And she was calm about it. I mean, she flipped the table. She was calm about it. And that was that. But I mean, it was, I think everybody else was a little shocked about it.
Well, I'm glad it turned you on.
I think everybody was in shock after that.
I think
everybody was in shock after that moment.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah, I think everybody was in shock at that moment.
What about, because we all know how reality TV works, like we know producers are involved and like they want you to do things. Like, was there anything like a producer kind of made you do or wanted you to do that you just refused to do it, or you just really begrudgingly did it?